G'day punters, welcome to the mailbag, powered by puntingform.com.au, section database we all use. I was on course yesterday at Sandown with Das, and I saw a couple of young punters using punting form. It made my eye, brought a tear to the eye, Peter. It's glorious stuff. They were there, they weren't working. No, Das was a bit more interested in the ambulance, the truck that rolls around Sandown, just like pissing water out the back, so the ambulance doesn't actually bring up too much dirt. Doesn't seem very efficient, to be honest, that thing. Anyway. And what was probably the biggest strip of all time was that it's, like, I don't want to go on and on, but he gets really car sick, and it was the longest car ride we've ever done. He didn't get car sick, and he's very excited about the races, which is sick in its own way, that just 2.5 years old and knows what the races are. But literally, as you get to Sandown, anyone coming from my sort of way, there's like 6 giant monster trucks on the fucking side of the road, which is his one great obsession in life at the moment.
Yep. So
all of a sudden he was filthy about going to the races and wanted to go to the monster trucks. So too good whoever's planning those trucks on the freeway there, the highway there. But yeah, good day. We're flying. We're about 35 units up, I think, for the month in Victoria, Jackson and I. Handy day yesterday at Sandown, betting today at Warrnambool, tonight at Pakenham. Praying that we're going to have the rider we expect to have in the last. He's been removed from an earlier ride.
Really?
Card. So we pray. But the horse probably too good anyway. And then betting tomorrow night, Moonee Valley. Then we're going to bet, and we're going to talk about today, right now, Peter.
Yes.
A glorious Group 1 meeting. J-Max in town. Uncle Chris has got 2 horses in a big race. It feels like Sydney, but it's Flemington. It's the greatest racetrack in the world, definitely in Australia, and easily the best racetrack to bet on, in my humble. How are you, Pete?
I'm good. I finally stopped running seconds and finally got my head in front there yesterday. It was good. Wonderful.
It was a fair little fill-up, wasn't
it? Yeah. So just under break even for the month, which is funny how it started basically the same for I think the last 3 months. Get off slow and then just come home real strong. So for those following my stuff, don't bet the first 2 weeks, just bet the second 2 weeks of every month and you'll be fine.
My advice would be bet it all, but just ramp it up until he starts winning. That's what I'll do.
Just get angrier and angrier.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
You got the...
Well, the best way to bet your stuff is to know when it's going to come through roughly, see the notification, put the bet on, and then wait for the chat group to either do heaps of eggplants and pistol emojis or just blow up and with swear words that you can see when you look at your phone, but when you open the phone, our app doesn't let you swear. So.
Yeah. Well, you can't blame Pike.
Don't watch it, basically. Just watch the app.
Yeah. Can't blame Pike anymore. He's in Sydney now. He's their problem. Okay, let's have a look at Flemington. The Lightning, Group 1, 1,000 metres. The track has the rail in the true, so perfect as usual. What are we thinking with this Lightning? Because Nature Strip at 270, Eduardo, the Nemesis 420, the Colt in Home Affairs at 650 with a bit of narrative. Then you got Profiteer, Masked Crusader, who you said at one stage, Jack Dickens, was the best sprinter in the country.
I think that the best 1,000-metre horse that we've seen in the last sort of 10 years was Black Caviar around then, I don't know. But anyway, is Nature Strip. The best 1,200-metre horse at the end of this season might be Masked Crusader. He went very, very close, didn't he, to winning the Everest. I was almost right, but I was wrong. But he's a good horse. I think probably Masked Crusader does his best work over a little bit further. Last preparation, when he sort of stamped himself, I thought as a real big boy, like at the tippy top of sprint racing in this country. There was over 1,100 metres first up at Caulfield off one trial. This time we see him 1,000 metres fresh down the straight. I don't love it. He's never seen the straight, which could be a really good thing, but I'd want to see evidence to suggest that he wants it before I'm betting on him loving it. You know what I mean, Pete?
Yeah. At the same time, I don't have any data to back this up. I might actually try and do this afternoon, but I would have thought if there's any camp that can get them right for Flemington first ever seen, it's the Hawks team.
That's a fair call.
I need to do that. I'm just thinking sort of anecdotally watching their sprinters over the last sort of 15 years as I've been punting, but I'll do a bit of deep diving into that this afternoon and I'll let nobody know except for myself. It doesn't end there, though. Like, G-Tra at his best is handy. The Inferno was showing a fair bit last preparation as well, but they obviously need to improve. Is there any interest with the fact that J-Mac is riding Home Affairs? He's obviously got some sort of weird Coolmore deal or something that means J-Car sits on Nature Strip.
Just imagine what that deal is and just how much cash he has. Honest to God.
He's building a house out of it, surely.
Like, house?
It's got a pool.
Probably building a suburb. He'd have so much money.
Yeah.
Like, I listened, I tried not to, but it was absolute torture listening to the English online like coverage of the English Classic sale. Like, every horse went to a great home and was going to get every opportunity, every single horse. Like, it was fucking torture. And Caitlin's there grinding. It must have been, like, real hard work for her. Why?
Not literally. Let's just put that out there.
Hard work mentally to stay focused and stay motivated and say this is going to a great home. That horse is going to get every opportunity.
That went over your head. That's all right. I was referring to a different word that you used. Anyway,
he's got a lot of cash. I think J-Car suits Nature Strip. I'm not worried about that at all. I think Nature Strip will win. Here's my map: Eduardo, Nature Strip, Profiteer lead, Home Affairs, G-Tra, and the Astrologist next. Then Swats that, Inferno, Masked Crusader. I think Flemington will race really fairly on Saturday, but in the straight races, I prefer not to be in the last third.
Yep.
Particularly when one of the greatest horses of all time is going to be leading or right on the lead. I think he'll beat Eduardo fresh. I think Profiteers, like, it's going from playing like you're playing first grade now, mate, and I don't think you're good enough. Home Affairs, I don't think it's near Nature Strip. Time will tell. We know he likes Flemington straight. Does he like 1,000 metres?
Mm.
The horse that loves the Flemington straight gets a nice run, gets the informed Super Bowl freshened Mark Zara. What a weapon! Like, he's been to America this week. It was a big event for me to go to fucking Sandown. Mark's been to LA. He's back. So far, no reports that he's like not well or he's overweight or anything. So he rides G-Tra, who's I think got some delicious stats, track and trip, Peter, if I just quickly get them up. He's had 4 goes at the track for 3 wins and a third. Track and trip, 2 from 2. At 1,000 metres just overall, he's 6 starts, 5 wins and a second. I think if you want to find a case to knock off one of these sort of more preferred ponies, I think G-Tra's the way to go, probably each way. It's got the synthetic hoof filler off, which I think is a bit of a push if you a bit old school, but that probably tells me the horse is going a little bit better than it was last prep. I think last preparation gets you a bit of a better price here. I think Nature Strip wins, though, even having said all that, but G-Tra is certainly the value proposition for me in this race, Pete.
Okie dokie. Now, 2 of the other races of interest on the card for me. Race 6 is the first of them, the CS Hayes. That's race 6. Group 3 of 1,400, and you've got Pinstriped as favourite at 330. Captivant is 550. Lightsaber, who's probably still stuck in the gates after last week, is 650 with Pesquero at 650 as well.
Well, I just pray they don't put the taps on the morning of.
Oh, imagine that.
God knows what P Moons will do. Apparently, he's rented out my room in one of those that apartment complex, top of the straight there. You know what I mean?
P&O cruise ship.
Set up a... Yeah, well, could, but he's just got the GoPro on, checking, sussing. Rhinoceros gets the blinkers off here, Pistol, for our friends.
The Brown team?
The Brown team, yeah, our friends, the Brown team. Blinkers off from 12. I thought it might want to cross and lead, but then blinkers off from 12. Like, I wouldn't bet on it leading, but I've mapped it to lead. How's that sound? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It didn't settle on speed there just off the punting form information. You can just go have a look. And the Group 3 at Ellerslie didn't go forward on that occasion. They've got the blinkers off. Maybe they just thought it was... Yeah.
If you roll down though further on its punting form, like, it's favourite to lead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You would have been pretty pissed off that it didn't lead at Ellerslie last start, given that it's almost always led every other time.
Probably just having a run.
Geordie Child has a really good affiliation with this horse.
Yep.
Ridden it a stack of times. So it's not just like a proper Kiwi import, and it is still colt. So interested to see what happens here with this horse. I thought it led. I thought Lightsaber gets a really, really good run from 6. I don't know if there's a heap of speed here, but I think he can sort of put it wherever he wants, Luke Nolan. I think he's riding really well. I think this suits him. I think this map suits Luke. Captive On is a horse that interests me because of the Cox Plate figure, I guess. But that could have killed it at the same time. It was pretty plain first up, I thought. I'm happy to risk from 10. I think they go back. Forgot You, I expect 0 intent. Same with the Legron. I think this race is a pretty thin edition of this race, which is normally a pretty decent race, which leads me to Pinstripes. Now, I hate Maui form. I don't trust it, but it was really, really good at Moonee Valley. It's 2 from 2 if you trust the Maui form, like big, strong performances. I can't see how it doesn't get a pretty good run here, and I don't think it really matters from 5 if he's half slow or whatever. It's Flemington. He's going to get all the time he needs to get there if he's any good. It looks like he's pretty good. I think the way to play this race is to back Lightsaber. Maybe have something small now, Pinstripe, but just wait and see what the market does. I can't tell if it's going to come heavily to it or it's going to be a bit sus on this thing, but it is lightly raced. This is the definition in racing of scopy. This horse has scope to improve, and when I look at the punting form, like its punting form page, it's a lot of lead in the pencil, Peter. It does everything you want to see from a horse that's going to keep going. I love that Mickey D rides again. He's had 3 starts on it. But then you can go the other way. So there's the positive case for Pinstriped, and I think you're going to need to back it. But devil's advocate, Peter. It started $3 versus Danny St. Darcy last start.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that? When Lightsaber started $12 versus fucking Tefane, Behemoth. You know what I mean? Big boys. I'm Thunderstruck. Like, that's Group 1, weight for age form. Versus Danny St. Darcy. No knock Danny St. Darcy. Like, I wish I owned it, but that's the grey up there. I'd rather it started $1.60 there, sort of thing, off that good Moonee Valley, off the good Maui performance. But no one trusts the Maui form, so you still got a price there at Moonee Valley, basically.
Yeah. Thoughts on Pasquero for D Lane riding for Busted and Young?
Gets a lovely run, hard to knock 2 from 2. I think this horse gets a really good run. I don't know if the inside draws often suit D Lane, but he's only drawn 4, so he's not necessarily going to be rails in run. Pounding was well backed, heavily backed. We beat SP. Jack and I talking about how good SP tastes just before we did this show, and then he settled a little bit too far back and didn't win. Mateo May isn't genuine. I don't think Pounding's that genuine, so I don't think this form's that genuine. But if you look at that Sandown race, nothing's come out of it except for Pounding, who was backed. So I don't know what you do. Like, it's not a big figure for a Sandown race either. What do you think? You obviously like it a little bit.
Yeah, I just think it's a tricky race, but my natural inclination is to take on Pinstriped. And so I'm looking around for a few others. I mean, look, we also haven't really mentioned Lightsaber. It was obviously slow away there in the Group 1 CF4 there last week. And, you know, if you just erase that from your mind, is it a bet?
Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, I thought I said this. Lightsaber is a certainty. You must bet Lightsaber. Yeah. You must be on. Lightsaber is 3 from 5 at the distance. It's 1 from 1 track and trip. It won a group 2, maybe at its 3rd start at Flemington with Luke Nolan over 400 metres. It ran into Animo. It ran into Bruckner. It knocked off good horses in the Caulfield Guineas Prelude. It ran 4th in the Caulfield Guineas, which is the Animo form, which is the best form in Australia, in my opinion. First up, this prep ran 4th to a horse called Marabi, who'll be favourite in Oakley Plate. And it missed the start. It was a complete forgive, but it started $12 in a Group 1 last week. It is, the way I bet, this is just a simple, easy bet to have, but I'm telling you now, Pinstripe's going to go really close.
Okay. All right, well, let's have a look at race 8 to round off the preview. And pretty even market. You've got, Corner Pocket and Mr. Brightside around the 420 mark. Then Elephant, our man, $7. Embolism, $8.50. Then you're out to Cherry Tortoni at $10. Groundswell, $12. Best available Thursday morning.
Didn't get any insight from you because you're a bit anti the bag life content at the moment, but our man Shane gave Elephant Teo Impala like a massive drive-by. Where are you at on that?
What, the song?
Yeah.
Well, that clearly shows the divide in age between us and Curlio. Tame Impala is the biggest band in the world right now. They're actually bigger in the States than they are here. So, I don't know. Maybe he wants to potentially listen to the radio at some point, listen to Spotify, maybe go to see a live gig. Don't know. But, yeah, just saying.
Yeah, I thought we could have used Tame Impala's gear all across the socials anyway. Map here, Peter. Groundswell, I think, rolls forward from 8. More Varda gets a really nice run from 7, I thought. Uncle Lindsay's horse, Corner Pocket, I think... Just stand by. Give me 1 second.
Corner Pocket won its last 7, 5 from 5, last preparation. First start at the track.
Oh, fuck this up. Where's my mouse gone?
Jack Dickens learning how to use a mouse. Riveting.
Well, I have to put this bloody camera in front of my actual computer, so I can't really see what I'm doing. Okay. Age of Chivalry, Groundswell, and More Varda are the only horses that are fresh here. Everything else is off, 85 days or more. Some of them are off 329 days, Juniper, Grand Slam. So, I'd anticipate intent from Age of Chivalry because it's fitter than most of these are, right?
Yep.
Groundswell the same. So they're 8 and 12. I think they have to roll forward, and I think More Varda rolls forward. I think you've got 3 race fit horses on the speed. Corner Pocket is first up, Uncle Lindsay. Barrier 1, I think you're going to get slightly buried, which I don't think is great with the horses around it. Because Groundswell, More Varda, Age of Chivalry roll forward, one of them's going to stop. It's probably going to flush out Corner Pocket, King Magnus, whoever gets stuck behind it, right? Mr. Brightside, it's got a similar sort of profile to, I was just dribbling on about Lightsaber. It had a pretty nice SP in a fucking pretty big race last prep. It built through its gears literally, but it started 460 versus Superstorm in the Cantala Stakes.
Yep.
That's the last time we saw it. It started $5 versus Superstorm, etc. Proper form. However, I don't know where it gets to, and I want to see a little bit more before I make a decision there. I think Elephant just has a run from 9. Embolism, Juniper, they get further back. The rest of them further back. Grand Slam, you don't want to know about it until you know it's going to go forward, and I wouldn't even waste your time guessing. Just wait till it does and bet in run. I think More Varda's a nibble bet here, Peter, at $26. What do you think? It's got the track and trip form, which I talked about a bit today, but
yep.
It's just I went looking for something outside of the obvious, and that's what I found. More Varda. I think More Varda each way is the roughie of the day of the races we're previewing.
Look, it's fair enough. I think you'd want to have it on side, especially if there's any sort of on-pace inclination there as to how the day is unfolding. But I think you've made a sound argument for that horse who can be pretty tough to get past in the straight. Look, it's a pure yard race for me. I can't wait to see what Jackson thinks of some of these fresh. Elephant, you're talking about SP and Superstorm and so forth. Look, Elephant was $5.50 against Superstorm when knocked off in the Fan, the Group 2. Only lost on the line, and still SP'd $4.40 against I'm Thunderstruck in the Turak when it was 3 wide, no cover.
Yeah, God bless it. Thank God for doing that, because we were against you that day. But you're right, it's a proper horse, isn't it?
Mm. Yep.
I also think Age of Chivalry is nibbleable versus the price of Groundswell. They started virtually the same price not that long ago.
Yep. In
the John Dillon. So 15 versus 12 versus now you're going to take 12 versus 34. So Age of Chivalry is bettable if you like it. It's a really good horse. This is a pretty good race, isn't it? If something like Luna Fox or one of these fresh horses, I think is going to go back, like the Cheritor Tony, who does have a track and trip peak figure of its life, did SP $3 versus Elephant. Like, it's a grey up. It is a complete grey up, this race. That's why I'm happy to nibble more Vada and just live and learn. Like you said, might get some pearl from the yard. Either way, we're going to learn a lot about some good horses, where they're headed this preparation, and who's sort of in form and who's not.
Yep, agree with that.
That's a bit scary. We're agreeing a lot, Peter. Let's pray. Hope we're right.
Exactly right. All right, very good. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where I'll join Mark Roden and Mark Sheen to preview the 3 Group 2s from wherever they are this weekend. Rosehill, that's the one.
Rosehill, where we pray they do get the taps out on the inside lane so they can run on.
Yes.
Bye for now.